Hi there, Ben here from Blooming Pretty Gardening Services. You'll have to excuse the noise. I'm sat in my car. I've been rained off from my gardening job, so I thought I'd do a bit of a video. It's been a while since I've spoken to you guys. So I thought I'd talk about a new bit of kit that I got. So I've just picked up this Ego multi-tool system. Picked up last week. I've got the 5 amp hour battery that came with the set, because I've got the pole pruner, hedge cutter, strimmer and the edger. So it comes with a 5 amp hour battery and a rapid charger. So I thought I'd just put a 2.5 amp hour battery on as well, just so that if you're going through your day and you realise that you're running a bit short on the battery, you can just whack the 2.5 amp hour battery on and it'll just cover you for like another hour or so of gardening, another garden. I started with a 2.5 amp hour battery yesterday and did like 2.5 lawns at one property. It's quite a big property, so I did a small little front lawn, a long strip that's probably about 20 or 30 meters long, by 3-ish meters wide, and then it lasted me nearly all the way around the big lawn, which is 400 square meters. I just had to change the battery halfway through because it died on me. It was a very warm day, so I don't know whether that had anything to do with it. They wanted me to do some hedge cutting there, so I asked them if I could put the battery on charge. It wasn't an issue, so and then I slapped the 5 amp hour battery on, and that saw me through that. And then I cut one of the hedges up the side of the up the side of the property, up the lawn. I also trimmed another 300 square meter lawn on the property as well, and it lasted all the way through when I still had ample left. I haven't put it on charge, and I've used it again today. It's still saying nearly full. The Egos are really good. They've got this light system on the back, so just one bar. What did I? No, I might have charged it while I was there, sorry. So that's what I've used today on it. I've done a 800 square meter lawn and 2 smaller lawns, a 15 square meter and a 30 or 40 square meter lawn. When I've come to my next garden and it's absolutely throwing it down and I don't want to get out of the car. It's just abysmal. It really is. There are thundery showers. I think it's about to die off. It looks a bit brighter in the distance. So yeah, I've been looking at getting some battery stuff for a while now, so the opportunity came to get this kit brand new, so I went for it last week. I think the 5 amp hour battery with it is more than enough if you're just doing smaller gardens. I changed my mind. I think I'm going to pack it in and go home in a minute. Give up as a lost cause. The other piece of kit that I've just bought is a weibang Virtue 50 SVP. Sort of to use almost day to day, but not. It's a replacement for my Cobra, which, although the Cobra would be very good if it was just used as a domestic mower, so you're using it weekly or fortnightly on your own lawn, keeping it quite short, just going out and mowing it when the weather was right, it's a great mower. But for me, who needs to be able to mow wet grass or longer grass, it just doesn't quite cut it. Cut it, lawnmowers. It's not good enough for commercial machine, really. Like I say, it's a good piece of kit. I'm just finding that the self-propelled's going a bit weak on it. It's a very slow walking pace when you're walking behind it. And the weibang Virtue is a lot faster. Its collection is 100 times better than the Cobra. They're exactly the same size. They're both 20-inch machines. The bags are very similar size, but the weibang bag has slightly bigger air holes in it to let the flow of air move more freely through the bag. I've used it today just after a really heavy shower, and it didn't leave any grass clippings, it didn't block the chute up, it just fired it straight into the back of the bag. Admittedly, the grass wasn't hugely long because it's not really grown a lot, 'cause it was on an unfertilised lawn that's only been scarified 4 weeks ago, so it's a bit it's not really recovered yet, and I've not reseeded it, and I cut a recently renovated lawn with it, so the seedlings were only about an inch, 30 millimeters high, something like that. So we just topped them, ready for it to start filling out the lawn, because I use a fescue rye mix, like a hard wearing grass seed, which is something that I'm looking at. I'll keep the hard wearing lawn seed for my customers who want just an all-round general purpose lawn, but I'm looking at getting some bent fescue lawn seed, because I've got some customers who want a really fine, nice finish, and they want it a little bit shorter, and I cut it weekly, and it's always fertilised, and it's a bit more open if I want to go and water it during the week, or give it an extra cut because it's looking a bit longer and a bit messier. It's sort of more open for that. A couple of other things I need to talk about are just how busy I'm getting this time of year. I am looking at changing my routes around and having a look at maybe getting rid of some of the gardens that I do. I travelled sometimes up to an hour for some of my gardens that I had when I first started a year ago, or just over a year ago, and I'm finding that when I'm going out that far, I don't get anything else done during the day, whereas if I had a day where I was local and I was out for the full day, I'd be able to fit something else in the evening on the way home. But with the hour drive there and the hour drive back, I just can't seem to fit anything in. It's a shame, really, because it's a nice garden, but I don't make any money out of it. not really worth me keeping it. Some of the other things, the gardens I've got are the same. They're huge distances away, and I just between going up to do one garden in like Northwich and I live in Crewe, I just can't fit them both in and get back in time to do some of my other gardens. I've got a whole road I've got 5 gardens in one road in Holmes Chapel, and going up to Northwich first and then coming back to Holmes Chapel doesn't give me enough time to do the 5 gardens plus another one in a village between the two. So it's like I think I worked it out at around 9 hours that I'd got to squeeze in, with perhaps an hour and a half of travelling time going up to Northwich, and then from Northwich to Middlewich, and then Middlewich across. Whereas I could do the Holmes Chapel and then the Middlewich on the way back home. Oh, what a miserable day. So yeah, I've also recently won a contract for one of my local nursing homes. It's quite a big site. I already have a commercial 30 lawnmower, so it's the Toro Turfmaster HDX. It's a great bit of kit, but it's not very good when it's wet and the grass is long. So I've done one visit already where I was there a day getting the lawns down to a manageable height, and started sorting out some of the borders. I've got a load of plants that I've sort of rescued out of people's gardens when they've been having a clear out, and they've said, "Oh, split me that and then just put me a little clump back in, and then you can keep the rest." So I've got some I've got hostas and daylilies. What else? I've got some phlox, sedums. It's only very basic plants, but they're all plants that give colour, and some of them have a nice smell to them. And then I've got to try and find some plants with some texture next, because they want to do like a sensory garden. So I'm gonna donate them to them and put them in for them in one or two of their borders, so that they look a bit better. It's a bit easier to care for. So yeah, it's slowly getting there. I'm getting to the point now where I'm having to turn people down for work that either I don't want or I can't fit in. I'm in two minds of whether to, if I can't fit it in, but I quite want the job, just to give a higher price. So if I get the job, I get the job. If I don't, I don't. But I haven't really decided that yet. It's just still in the pipeline. I'll probably just keep to how I'm going. Another thing that really gets me is when people ask you to come and do a quote. So you give them a quote, and so I went and looked at a garden. It was a 30 square metre lawn and a 40 square metre lawn, somewhere around there. and they wanted it aerating, scarifying, overseeding, top dressing, which I would have had to scalp the lawn down, which it's a lot of stress on the machines, scalping a lawn and that. So especially when the lawns are like 50 to 75 mil tall. So I was like, the price to hire a aerator, because it's not something that I do all the time, is £60 for the day ish. It's probably not quite that, but there's an extra hour's worth of work to do the aerating and to collect up all the cores. So I put on, I have a standard rate for scarifying and doing a lawn renovation. It's minimum of 150 and £2 a square metre. So 100 square metre lawns, £200. But anything under the is it 75 square meters? Yeah, something like that. It'll reach the minimum amount. So I was thinking, if they just wanted it scarifying and reseeding, I would be 160. But because of the extra work and the hire, I'd put it up to 250. I think it was still fairly cheap for what I was doing. And they said, that's more than I was expecting it to be. Well, how I broke my cost down, I haven't told them this, I just left it at that. But my cost breakdown would be approximately I was just thinking this through in my head. It's right, so it's £5 for the seed ish, it's a couple of pounds for the pre-seed fertilizer, it's around £60 for the compost to top dress the lawn after putting the seed down. So that's like £80. Then I've got the cost of the car, trailer, diesel, insurance, my business insurance, and the fuel for the mower and the scarifier. I know the company that I hire from, they're a bit funny about what fuel you put in. So they say, we'll fill it up, but it's an added cost onto your bill. So they charge, I think it's £5 for them to fill it up, because they're funny about you filling it up as a homeowner operator, just in case you put E10 in it instead of E5 fuel. But I only have E5 fuel for all my machines. Sorry, this weather really gets me down. But so I thought labour costs, all my added expenses, I'd probably underquoted it. Certainly be a lot less than how Green Thumb do it, but because Green Thumb and companies like that spread their costs out over the year, you don't really notice it so much. So they'd probably be about £30 to £40 a month, whereas that charges what I charge you for that day's work. And then if I was to carry on doing because he was thinking about cancelling Green Thumb and having me do it instead. But he'd have to wait for the contract to finish. I would then be like for the fertiliser application, I'd probably be around £20 a visit to go and fertilise, spread it. So it probably was cheaper for him just to keep Green Thumb, but Green Thumb don't really care, because they don't see the lawn from one week to the next. They're not there all the time, and that's why I don't really like doing these one-off scarifies or fertilizer visits. I prefer to be like all-inclusive, or like one or two of my lawns where I go and do everything. I'm there every week cutting the lawn, I'm there doing the flower beds. I'm going to do a lawn renovation next week for them, so I see the lawn, I'm there all the time. They're in contact with me, telling me that, or letting me know where they're up to in their life, if that makes any sense. So instead of me just turning up and scarifying the lawn or putting moss control down and killing, like making all the moss go black, I'm actually talking to them, and they're there, I'm there. So it's like they were having a party this weekend coming, so it's the King's coronation, and they're having a bit of a party, because I was going to do the lawn renovation 2 weeks ago, and I thought, if I do it, it's not going to be ready in time for them to have this party, but the lawn looks good enough. In fact, it looks amazing. I'll try and put up a picture and show you the lawn. It really is a nice looking lawn, and it's taken me a lot of work to get it to where it is. But if I'd have gone and renovated it 2 weeks ago, then it wouldn't have been nice this weekend. It would have still been patchy and thin, and you wouldn't have been able to go on it. So at least if it ever stops raining this weekend for the King's coronation, then they'll be able to go on it and have their garden party. So right, I'm rambling on, so I'm gonna get off and sit here for a bit longer and see whether this rain dies down. Otherwise I'm just gonna go home. And yeah, so if you want to hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button that's down there, and then I shall see you in the next video. Thank you very much.